So Jake and I, we decided to collaborate on a book, a single book, not a series book, not the start of a series, but just one book that we wanted to both read and talk about tonight on the show. And after we took a little time, we couldn't quite pick one. Jake figured out what that book was. And Jake, what was that book?
Well, we needed a standalone
A
finally.
standalone, that's the word.
We needed to change up the pace a little bit. We dive into these big series, and sometimes it's hard to talk about when you dive into series because you can't just cover. I mean, you can read 6 out of 10 books of a series, but you don't know if it's perfect or not,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you don't finish it.
Mm-hmm.
So we did Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. I think it's my favorite standalone book ever.
Ever.
I think so.
Interesting.
I think so.
Wow.
This is the
It's
second time
really
I've read
good.
it. It's
Yeah.
really good.
It's pretty goddamn good.
I couldn't believe I read it
It's
either 2 or
fun.
3 years ago, and I couldn't believe how invested I was. Even, like, I know what happens, and I was equally as invested this
Yeah.
time. I read it crazy fast, and I
Yeah.
haven't been reading for the last month and a half.
You did read it pretty quick.
I read the
I thought
last
I was reading
350
it quick.
pages in a day.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, that's the thing. So I had never read any of this guy's books. Braden talked about Artemis on that one episode. I have seen the movie The Martian.
I read The Martian.
Pretty decent. But
I
I'm
don't
sure
love the book.
okay.
I don't
But
love The Martian.
you know what?
Isn't that interesting?
That is interesting because you hated Artemis, but this was the book that made you go,
So good though,
It-
man. He's
it-
so good. This book is so good.
Before we start kind of getting into what the book's about and stuff, though, I do want to say that this book has the energy of how sometimes you always say that you got to take your critic lens off and just have a good time with a book.
Fun. Yeah.
It has that feeling, while also I feel like being critically just a good book as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's why.
It's
I think it's
fun.
one of the things that made it so rereadable as well is exactly what you said, that it is just fun. Even if you're reading it critically, it's fun. I
Yeah.
can't name any other books that are fun where, I mean, the writing's good, the science is good and accurate from what I've been told. My
You'd
college
hope.
No, so
Yeah.
my college roommate read it, and
Yeah.
he's a chemist. He's way smarter than me, and he told me, he's like, "Yeah, this is like
I bet.
it even touched a
He's who
different
this
nerve
book
for
is
him."
for. Yeah.
Yeah, but people like us, yeah, I mean, we'll talk
Yeah.
about what he does so well in it, but
Yeah.
it just it is a fun book. I recommend it to everybody. It would be one of my first recommendations to people if they were gonna read one book.
I
What to pick up.
recommend not even like if you're listening to this podcast, we're gonna give a lot away. We're gonna get to spoilers, but if you decide to quit now and just read a solid book, I would recommend not even reading like the flap in the opening of the book. Like
I
just
don't. I
start
mean,
the
I
book.
don't do that ever.
Just
Yeah,
well, here's the thing. I didn't, and then I started the book,
makes
and
it better.
I got to the point where here's where a little bit of the spoilers. Very light though. It's very beginning, but he remembers his name. But at the beginning of the book, right at the opening thing, it tells you this guy's name. But I'm glad
By
I
the
didn't
way,
see that.
that's 30 pages into the book. It's a very, very light
Yeah,
spoiler.
yeah. It's a very light spoiler that you get this guy's name. But
It is a great book,
that's
though.
part of
Andy
the charm
Weir,
of it. Yeah.
man, did he before we get into the plot, just man, has he progressed as a writer from book to book to book.
Yeah.
It's really amazing that like in those first couple books, it has pieces of this, and then as you read this, you're like, fuck, he really put it all together. Like his skills of
It's like you felt him get
science,
comfortable.
plot, character. You know, I think that's where The Martian is really lacking for me, is that I just didn't give a damn about the character. I really didn't. In the book, I'd never seen the movie. That's how I felt about the book.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess I'll have to hear what you say. I love the main character in this book, and I love the other characters in this book. They're so good, and you care about them so much. Like, truly, when I read The Martian, if he would have died in the end of The Martian, spoilers for The Martian, that I wouldn't have cared. And in this book, I'm very, very, very invested in what happens. And I think that's hard to do sometimes in science fiction a little bit, where it's so much based around science and you know, what's happening in the world, that maybe characters take a side step or, you know, take a back seat to that. And I don't think it does that here. So it's just really a triumph from him. He hasn't written a book since, which I'm not happy about, but really a
Yeah,
triumph from
but you
him.
know what? I feel like this is a guy that I mean, just thinking about the science in this book, like, he must do so much to prep to write something like that, and that's his type of story. We're gonna get another thing like this is his next book.
Yeah, I think too, like, the more I think about this book, man, it is a really I mean, there's numerous plots happening. It's not an easy book to write, is what I was thinking.
Yeah.
In my mind, it's a good story on top of everything else, right? It is a really good story,
I
and
think
I'm
it's
sure he was very involved in the movie, so
well, I think it's gonna make for a really good movie, like,
I
I'm
said that to you
excited to
already. I said
see
that
the
to you when you
movie.
weren't finished with the book yet, that I
Yeah.
said I think it's gonna be a great movie.
I
I
think you
think
said this
it's
to me before I even started the
I
book.
think it's gonna be a very, very, very
Here's the thing,
successful
it could
film.
be a very good movie, or they could just not
See,
get it at all. There's a
my
lot there that's very,
my
like
hope for it is because I've never seen The Martian, but people fucking loved it. I mean, I think it got nominated, or at least, Matt
y
Damon got nominated for an Oscar, maybe?
probably, yeah, something like that.
So, I think
It
if they
won
were
some
able
shit.
I think if they were able to do that with The Martian, I think they'll be able to do that here. I really do, and especially because I'm sure the budget is even larger, knowing that his first book turned into a movie was so
Mhm.
successful. I'm
Yeah.
sure that they're very willing to say, "Here's the money." My only concern, but I'm not really that concerned about it, is, when you're reading that book,
Mm.
does the main character give you Ryan Gosling vibes? Because it doesn't give me but I think he's a great actor, so I think he'll do it,
I
but
could see like, since I already knew that it was gonna be Ryan Gosling in that movie, I kinda started trying to look for that, and I was like, "I
Uh-huh.
could see it." It's not like I
It's
listened
not
to
horrible.
so at the near the end of the book, like, near 20 I think 25, 26,
The very end, okay.
I listened to those audiobook. The guy doing the audiobook, I couldn't picture like, he kinda was like, "Oh, this guy's voice
Oh,
is
okay.
very d" so, like, I could believe Jake Gyllenhaal over the guy that read the audiobook for 2 chapters. Not that that
Well,
guy did a bad job, he did a great job, but, like,
yeah, but I hear what you're saying, it just
he
didn't
sounded like
exactly
Tom
fit for you.
Hanks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was
But
like,
man
"This ain't it."
and I'll say this too, man. So I think too where he really steps up here is in The Martian. I like science as a hobby for myself because it's obviously not what I do professionally, but he really takes a big step up here where in The Martian there's just like large swaths of science info dumping it feels like.
Okay.
And in this book, man, it is so perfectly integrated into the story where you find it super interesting. For me, I don't know about you, like, I found every bit of science that is in this book interesting, and I wanted to learn it.
Yeah.
I just think he did very well at and even if there's parts where you were like, "Okay, I'm not that into this," it's so minuscule, like,
Mhm.
it's so broken up in there that it's never bothersome.
It's very tastefully planted throughout the writing of the
It's
every
good.
chapter.
It's really
Um,
impressive.
it is, and I wanna dive into that a little deeper, but I think we should probably talk a little bit
Okay,
at least the
sorry.
generic basis of the plot, and
You
then
give it.
we'll do it. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, so I don't usually do the plots, but I'm gonna do it for this one. So
I can do
this
it if you want. It's
no,
up to
I'll
you.
do it, I'll do it, I'll do
Okay,
it. I
I'll fill
kinda
in if
think
that makes you feel
I think
better.
I need to. I think I need to get it out.
Uh-huh.
Um this is the story all about how this guy's life got flipped turned upside down, and I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there. I'll tell you how this guy became prince of a station called Hail Mare. Um, whew, I pulled that out of my ass like a rabbit out of a hat, dude. Um, so this guy, you are thrown into the story of a guy just waking up on a spaceship in no
You don't even
longer our
know it's in a spaceship,
galaxy. You don't even know it's in a spaceship. Yeah, oh my god, the way this thing
right?
starts. Yeah.
Interesting, right?
Um, fuck. Okay.
Sorry.
No, you're good. It just made me think of so much stuff. I just want to talk about the beginning of the book about. But this guy basically finds out that he is the only survivor of a mission to send a guy to a different galaxy to figure out how to save the planet Earth from an infestation that is destroying our sun, and he has to find out how to stop it. And he doesn't remember any of this at the start of the book, and he slowly has to figure out. that he is Earth's fucking savior. And it is a banger of a book. I don't wanna give anything like, that's the premise. Guy wakes up and you're going back
Yeah,
and forth.
yeah,
It does a very, "Here's what
excellent.
happened, here's what's
Mhm.
happening."
Yeah.
And this
Yeah,
guy's
so you
slowly waking up from amnesia throughout the book.
and at first you don't know why, and he doesn't know why he's in space,
Yeah, dude, he
and
doesn't know at
and
all.
it's doing these flashbacks to fix his amnesia, showing
Mhm.
when Earth first learned of the, essentially fungus infestation that is eating the sun.
Yeah.
Um,
Because the it
yeah.
starts off with, like, his first flashback, he's, like, dreaming, trying to, like you're getting aware that he was put in a coma for a reason to come to this area that he's in. You know he at least is a guy waking from a coma, so you can believe that his memories will slowly start to come back, and that's how the book kinda goes back and forth, and the first thing he starts to remember of his life is just, like,
He's a school teacher.
he's a school teacher, so you're slowly
A junior
figuring
hi
out.
like a middle school science
Yeah.
teacher.
How this
So then it's the
guy
story of how the middle school science teacher ends up being the last man savior of Earth.
Yeah.
But
And
it's believable, right?
it's so believable. It's so
And
good
for
from
honestly,
beginning to end.
for me, just reading it the second time, the flashback stuff is better than the main story up until about halfway through the book. It's that good. The flashback stuff is that good of how he got there.
Mhm.
It is. It's so good, man.
Oh, and it's always even when the stuff going on in the present is happening and it cuts away for the past stuff, I am like, "Ooh, I wanna know how that situation's gonna end," but I do wanna know where this like, I wanna know how he ends up on that ship.
So
And boy, do they play with your emotions the whole
the
time until
past
you
stuff
find out.
revolves around where I find it's all about how Earth is responding to this infestation.
Mhm.
And he is pulled into it because he has a PhD in biology
Yeah.
and he wrote a paper um, about possible alien life. And that is how he got pulled into it.
Yeah.
And
He wrote a
he
paper
becomes a
in
large,
college.
yes. So he becomes a large part of the mission to save the planet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so cool.
But
It's
as, like, an
so
administrative role, a scientific role and an administrative role, he's not supposed to be on the ship,
Mhm.
which you don't learn exactly how that happens until very late in the book, but
Yeah.
it's good though, right?
And just when you think you know how it's gonna play out, every time you're like, "Okay, from here, I see where it's going." It's like, "Oh, fuck. I didn't think it was gonna go like that."
No, no.
So this infestation that takes over the ship is called astrophage. And the way they addressed this was so fun because it starts with him just living his life when he's getting the flashbacks, and all we know is there's some sort of, like, problem with the sun, and then we think it's alien like, they start to make you feel like, "Oh, this is an alien invasion," but then it becomes this very realistic type of alien invasion, like, this
Yep.
very minute thing, this thing on such a small level is causing a problem, and the way they describe how it works is so interesting. For a guy who doesn't understand science shit, like, outside of a high school education of it,
Mhm.
terms, words, things like that, I still had a ball reading through all that. Like, it
Every
was
bit of
just
it.
fun. Like, the main character is cool, so he makes science sound more cool than
Yeah, he's, like, really excited about it, right?
yeah. Oh, he's
That's just
so
cool.
excited about it. And you buy that he's, like, as smart as he is.
True.
So because you're in his head the whole time, it's told through his perspective. So you're like, "Yeah, I can buy that this guy can figure it out because I've been listening to his thoughts for the past however long I've been reading this book."
Yeah. All the
I
past yeah, good.
no, I love that character. I
Just
love the way the
all
book
the
is written.
past stuff, I'm trying to put off the present stuff because that's where I think the more big spoilers are, but all of the past stuff is super it's where it's a different kind of science fiction too from the rest of the book where it's showing how Earth would respond to something like this.
Mhm.
I found all that so interesting, man. I
Yeah.
really did, and I
Yeah.
thought her name's escaping me. What is the name of the woman
Strat?
in charge? Yes, Strat. There's a
Strat.
character that is put in charge of essentially a world organization of herself to solve this issue,
Mhm.
and all of the world governments have come together, and she is in charge of it, and she is who finds him and recruits him to it. But, like and they've solved technical issues along the way of, okay, how are we gonna get a ship that far outside of the solar
Mhm.
system? We've never done that before, and what
Yeah.
are we gonna send up with them, and how are we gonna get the power to get there? And, man, it's so cool, like,
I mean, they
there's
make it so believable
mhm.
overall. Like, you're just like,
But
"Yeah."
that's where I say it's a hard book to write is because all of those little
Oh,
elements coming
yeah.
into it are so
Every
good, right?
single that's what I mean, like, this guy must take time on his books because, like, even if you know this shit, I feel like you have to really make sure you got it right because
Yeah.
everything
Um,
everything going on in the present and most of the stuff going on in the past are based around scientific equations being correct and
yeah.
being, like, mapped out for the things they're gonna do.
Like
And when there's a
like
problem, oh, do they go into it about how they're gonna
yeah.
solve that
Like,
problem and
one of those problems that's really good is they're trying to send all of Earth's knowledge up on the ship, right? And
Mhm,
included in that is scientific instruments because 'cause they're like, we're not sure what they're going to need, but we wanna make sure the astronauts
mhm.
have everything they could
It's
possibly need.
Project Hail Mary. We're giving them
So
everything we got.
everything. So their plan at first is to send every scientific instrument up, and they say, "Well, okay, how are you gonna have these instruments work in zero gravity?" And Strat says, "I have all the money in the literally all the money in the world.
Mhm.
I will develop
World's ending. We gotta stop
yes,
it.
I will develop zero gravity technology."
Mhm.
And, they pull a guy out of jail who
Yeah.
says,
Yeah.
"No, no, that's not this guy, sorry, it's a that's the guy for the Sahara Desert, different guy,
Yeah,
sorry.
still
This
though,
guy this
still.
person is a
The way they
he"
gather the Avengers in
Yeah,
this book.
so but this guy says, "Yeah, the problem is every scientific instrument, even if you make them, they break, and we've tested all these instruments that we currently have for millions of hours. So what you have to do is build a ship that can simulate gravity, and
Mhm.
here's how we're gonna do it." And the person was like, "Yeah, that's just my idea." And Strat says, "Oh, no, now you're on the team, you don't have a
You're on
choice."
board too. We're
It's like a
gonna give it a
Manhattan
whirl.
Project where
Yeah.
everybody's recruited and you don't have a choice.
Yep.
It's really neat. No, the guy from jail, his job was to learn how to breed astrophage at an extreme level so that they had
Mhm.
rocket fuel to go to a different solar
Because
system. So
astrophage, even though it's destroying the sun, its power level is off the charts.
yeah,
They
so it
could
can be
use
used
it.
as fuel.
Yeah.
Right. Very cool as well. A very,
Mhm.
very cool idea from
Oh,
the
yeah.
author.
The astrophage, we're just gonna talk about it as a MacGuffin through most of this podcast, but it is a really fucking cool concept.
Yeah,
I r
the truth is we're both too stupid to talk about it scientifically.
but honestly, the astrophage is the real main character of this book.
Super cool. Well, not my main character. My main character hasn't been discussed yet.
Right, yeah, astrophage. Yeah. But go on, sorry, I kinda jumped in
No,
there with that.
I just think the past stuff is really neat, and I think it's really fun, very believable, doesn't go too far, and it gives you it I'm usually a guy that likes, like, as much detail as possible in books,
Mhm.
but he gives these scenes super quick, super
Oh,
they're
yeah.
like flashes, but they're in detail enough that you enjoy it, and it's never bogged down. I mean, the pace of the book is just unbelievable,
Yeah,
right?
sometimes I think I expect it to, like, really drag scenes out, and it's just like,
It
"This
doesn't have a
is
se
we did it,
truly
let's
don't think
go,
there's a
move on."
single second of that book that is too long. Yeah, there's no
No.
notes. Like, there's nothing I would take out of it or nothing I would add, you know?
No, he cuts out
Maybe
a lot of the
one
like,
there's
where there
one
could
thing in
be
the
fat, he
end.
cuts it out. One thing
There's
in
one
the
thing in
end.
the end I would probably add, but we'll talk about that
Oh,
later, that I
add,
just would
okay.
like to see, but
Okay.
nothing wrong with the end. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how to talk much more without
I think
spoiling
we
it.
have to.
So from this point forward, we gave you a premise, we gave you kind of an idea. We're gonna go into spoilers. We're gonna talk about this movie or this book with each other. Um, so where do we
Movie's
start?
filmed, by the way. The movie's filmed already.
I know I saw it was at they were showing off stuff about it at CinemaCon this year.
Yeah, it's awesome. I don't know how long it'll be, but like, I don't know how long
I
until it comes out, rather.
I think it comes out next January
That'd
or
be
like
great.
yeah, I think it's sometime in 2026. I've done a little looking into it since
Wait, so you're
reading
saying
and
in 6 months? Or 7 months?
yeah, roughly. Yeah,
That'd
something
be
like that.
awesome. That'd be
Yeah,
great. I was expecting longer.
yeah, I think it's coming out soon.
That'd be great.
Okay, so
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
this book, it had so many moments where I just got, like I thought I got where like, I remember being at the beginning of the book and being like, "Yeah, I see where we're going. This should be a fun romp. How is there still this much left of the book?" And
Yeah,
then, like, I would get further in the plot and be like, "Oh, we're going in totally different directions." So they tease you with astrophage because they treat it as an alien at first, and it technically is. It's an organism that is alive that's transferring from Venus to the sun, stealing pieces of the sun to go fucking breed and multiply. And so once you've learned that that's the alien that we're dealing with, you're like, "That's the alien. This isn't an alien type of book." And then out of fucking nowhere, a fourth way into the book, in the present, he just meets another alien spaceship with the coolest character of the book. And you
awesome.
believe it, because 'cause you're like,
Yeah.
they they slowly
This
feed you into it. You don't know what's going on.
Yep.
You're
I
almost
think
still not believing that he's meeting an alien up until the point that he meets an alien.
yeah. Yeah, I think it's, also what he does the most brilliant in my opinion, and he does it quickly, succinctly, and believably, is their communication with one another, that, he builds how they're able to communicate, and he builds it out, and
Mhm.
it's so believable, it's so cool, and it's
This
so good.
whole book should be full of stuff that the average reader would be like, "This is boring shit. Why am I reading this?"
Not
But it's fun. He makes it fun to read
so
about.
good.
Learning speech, learning and, like, so much time passes. Like, he's out in space. Time is just a passing constantly.
Mhm.
And you're like, "Sure, why not?" You
Yeah.
know? So you believe when they start to communicate with each other so easily because it's like, it's just been these 2 motherfuckers for
With nothing else to
months.
do, by the way,
Mhm.
with nothing else to do.
Yeah,
Because they're
yeah.
working with each other to try to figure out this issue because the alien, you learn his home sun has the same issue that, Earth has, right?
Mhm.
That their sun's being eaten as well, so this alien is out here also trying to figure out how to
Rocky.
eliminate yeah,
Rocky. Oh,
Rocky, and you
he's
learn
the
that Rocky's whole crew also died. Another super interesting point is that, you know, this is big spoilers, that Rocky
we're in spoiler.
has Rocky has no eyes, and Rocky uses
Rocky's an alien.
echolocation, and
Mhm.
Rocky's the alien, and he has no eyes and uses
He's like a spider
echolocation,
creature
and that's a rock.
made of rock.
And he his whole crew died on the way there, and he didn't understand why his whole crew died, and he didn't, and it's because his alien race doesn't understand, gamma rays and cancer. Because they're and you learn how their planet can't get gamma rays because they have such a strong atmosphere made of ammonia that it can't penetrate the magnetic field.
Yeah,
So they've never had cancer, they've never dealt with gamma rays, they've never left the planet. So
and they
everybody
all
dies
got it.
except for him
Yeah.
on the way there. It's just,
And they explain why
scientific
he's the only one who didn't, and
yeah. Oh
yeah.
god. And
Yeah.
it's just stuff that, like, I don't
He
know,
covers
that's
all
the
his
kind of stuff
bases.
but that's the kind of stuff that doesn't need to be in the book that you just are like, "This is why it's good. It's really good. It's not
He's
just the story, it's the little stuff like that
It's
that"
it's such good detail that doesn't take
Mhm.
away from the pacing, like, I wouldn't say this book is heavily written detailed in detail, but he does, like, he gives you a lot of detail. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh my god, I didn't know what to expect with Rocky the whole time. Because like, through a lot of this book, you're like, "Okay, our main character knows he's gonna die, he's on a death thing," but you're
Guess
also
we should
like,
say that.
yeah,
Guess we should say we haven't said that, is
it's a
that he
one-way
only has
trip.
enough fuel to get there, and they
Yeah.
built
Beetle.
these drones that would send back the information from the ship to Earth
Mhm.
because they don't have enough fuel to get home. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so, like, you're playing with our emotions there. You kinda could believe the same thing could be said of Rocky, so you're worried Rocky's gonna die. You're worried about death the whole time. The way the story's written, you're kinda like, "I bet our main character doesn't die because he's the one telling the story." Um, but you still think it might happen, and they just play around with that for so long. so long. There's a whole fucking action scene that's gonna be, like, the biggest action part of the movie, I'd say, where they're on that other planet, and
Mhm.
Rocky almost dies, all that shit happens on the spaceship.
Yeah, main
Um,
character almost dies as well.
so you're like but, it's the type of book where you're just kinda like, "Oh, no, everything's kind of been other than the end of the world, going okay for everybody." I'd
Yeah,
believe
he's
if
doing
a
great at
character
that point, right? Everything's
died.
working for him.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
then he didn't, and it was like, "Oh, thank God." And they kept back to work, and then they say goodbye, and you're like, "Oh, the sadness I felt about this guy dying is now sad again because they're saying goodbye."
Yeah.
But you're also like, "There's still about 100 pages of book left.
Yeah. What is gonna
What
happen
is
now?
still gonna happen?" And they
Yeah, and at
just
this point, I was pretty convinced that the way it was gonna go, just because 'cause I'm boring and bland, I was like, "Oh, he's gonna get to home to Earth, and he's gonna teach him about the aliens, and then they're gonna be able to communicate
Yeah,
once, like, from
yeah,
Earth to that planet, and that'll be, like, the big happy ending." Boy, is Andy Weir much more imaginative than me.
yeah.
Way more exciting than me, right?
Yeah, way more, way, way, way more, and you
Yeah.
know what? I saw, like, seeds of it throughout, and I was really happy that that's what ha that the ending, how it decided to end was where
Yeah.
it went. I was like, "This is fine." Like, in another book, this might be a
Oh,
weird
I thought it was
ending, but
wonderful.
this oh,
I thought it was
yeah. My
awesome.
fine, I say, I give it the pass completely. I loved it. I
Yeah.
love that he goes back. Once again, spoilers all the way, we're hopping around. I just he goes back and saves Rocky, like, that's how the end of the last 100 pages is like, this guy's going back home, everybody lives, all
He's
the
gonna
world
be a
gets to live,
hero. He's gonna be
finds
the
out
hero of Earth.
finds out that something happened where Rocky probably lost all his fucking fuel because
Rocky's
the
gonna die. Rocky's
Rocky's
not gonna be
gonna
able to save
die.
his planet,
Mhm,
but he still has the drones to send back to Earth. So
mhm.
his choices are he can go back to Earth and be the great hero that everybody loves and worships, but he knows Rocky's gonna die and all
His
his people are
boy
gonna
that he
die
just spent the past few months with, they really build the
bonded.
brothership of these guys. I
Mhm.
love that they're just both these dorks that are just like, "Let's
Such
be
perfect
friends,
dorks
we need
together.
to be bros for life," and
Mhm.
you're kinda presented throughout the not so much the ending of the book kinda gives you more of this, but it does tell you our main character is a coward, and one of his
Mhm.
things is he's a huge coward, and I think that his ultimate character moment 'cause you don't know he's a coward till the end. He kinda seems brave for everything he's doing until you find out actually he's a chicken shit that didn't wanna come, didn't wanna
He was
save the
forced
world.
to
And,
go.
like, you
He was
totally get
drugged.
why, but, like, he struggles with being a coward, and he decides to go back, sacrifice himself, knows full well at this point that there's no way he could possibly live, and
Yeah.
he goes and he saves his boy.
Yeah.
And, something that could be detrimental in a different book, but I still liked for this book even when things were going wrong, I always believed that it was gonna be like, there's nothing that goes wrong that sticks in this book. It's like, everything is gonna be okay. They always solve it. Like, even when he goes to save
Yeah.
Rocky, he's like, "I don't have any food, Rocky. I can't even live on your planet." Rocky's like, "Sure you can. We could do this." And you're like, "Alright, I mean."
I thought for sure once he turned around that he was going to die, and that was gonna be, like, his heroic moment was gonna be that on both planets, they were, like, had statues of him,
Hmm.
essentially. Do you know what I
Wow,
mean?
that would've been cool. I would've liked that. But
No, this is better. This
this
is
is
way
better.
better.
This is but
Yeah.
dude, they oh my
This is
god.
almost perfect for me. I think
When
it is. I mean, the only thing is so he gets back to the planet, to Rocky's planet, and that's where he lives out his days.
Yeah.
And it's cool, they explain how he's able to do that,
Mhm.
and he learns and he's at this point, he's been there for years and years
Yeah,
and
like
years, like
20 like, he's in
decades.
his
Yeah,
50s now, I think
he's
he's
old.
20. Yeah.
He's older, and, really nice moment. You gotta think at this point, he has no idea if Earth made it or not,
Yeah,
and
that's another thing
they
the book does, I feel like we haven't talked about, like, they explain, like, how Earth is still gonna get super fucked, like, they're gonna
fucked.
save it, but it's gonna get super fucked, and the
Yeah,
whole
that they're trying
time,
to save it, yeah.
the author doesn't know what happens, like, we even as readers never find out what happened in this version of Earth, um
Mhm.
but the whole time they're kind of feeding it to you like it could be possible or it could be fucked right now. It could be
Yeah, it says
absolutely fucked
repeatedly that
by
no
now.
matter what, even if Hail Mary works, it takes 13 years to get there. The
Mhm.
information takes 13 years to get the ship takes 13 years to get to this other system, and it's
Mhm.
gonna take 13 years for the information to return back, so that's 26 years of the sun
Yeah.
decaying and not working at a level that we're
And they
expecting, and
fucked some of the Earth themselves trying to, like, give the
to
Earth a
save
little
it.
extra
Yeah,
time.
yeah. So then at the
God.
end, I think it's perfect how it's done, though, that he has been waiting, and you can imagine, like, him wondering if it's worth it that he lives on this alien planet that's
Mhm.
probably not living the best life. Um, and he learns that they're able to read the sun
Mhm.
and, that it's back to normal.
Yeah.
So and he has this profound moment of crying and realizing that his life was meaningful because he
Very
was able to save
meaningful.
Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, the only
And
thing I wish I would have seen, and it's okay, and I understand why he didn't do it, and it's profound the way it is. I wish I could have gotten, like, one scene from Earth,
mm,
about, like, how what's his
yeah.
name, Ryan? Is his name R Graves? Am I making that up? What's
Grace.
his name? Grace, Ryan
Yeah.
Grace.
Yeah, yeah.
That, just one scene from Earth to see how he is, like, viewed there. I think that would
Mm,
be neat, but I understand
yeah.
why they didn't do it. It's probably
I mean, I
more
it would
impactful
be yeah.
and more impactful in a
He
way
would
to
have
let
to
you
be there to
imagine.
know. It'd be weird for the book to go and
Yeah.
explain something that he wasn't
I
there
would
for.
also like to know what happened to Strat because I think that's a great moment too,
Yeah.
that at one point when she's forcing him onto the ship that he doesn't wanna
Mhm.
go on,
Yeah.
she says, "Hey, I'm gonna spend the rest of my life in jail for what I've done, but it's
Yeah.
worth it because I'm gonna save the planet."
Yeah.
I thought that was neat too. But the ending's satisfying, man. I cried twice.
I
So,
love that
both
at the
times I read it.
very end, he's a teacher at
How great,
on that
right?
plane. I was like,
It's perfect.
beautiful. Way to, like
It's like a shot
the
like
every, like, little thing gets a payoff, I feel like. Every
it
little
does.
moment gets some kinda
It
payoff.
is really like a I really do hesitate to say it. It is like a perfect book. I don't like
It's
standalones, man. I struggle with them. I really do. And I understand they're good and people love them and it's just not it's a me thing. It's a me issue.
Mhm. Mhm.
It is like I just oh my goodness. It's just because there's just so much that happens and it's the character you're so invested and it's only 400 something pages. It's not a huge book,
Very
you
invested
know?
very quick. Like, within the first chapter, as soon as you find out that, because like, it starts and you're not aware that he doesn't know what's going on. He's kinda, like, being sarcastic with the robot as if he knows it. So
Yeah.
you're like, "Oh, this is like a futuristic thing, right?" And then it was like, "Oh, this guy doesn't know who he is or what's going on.
What's going on at all?
What is going on?" So it sucks
Yeah.
you in really quick. It's not a super long book, like, it's a shorter book. I read it in a week and a half, and that's with taking
But so
breaks.
much happens.
So much happens, so much happens. When I called you last week, it was right after I had read the chapter where they had discovered the other planet and had found out that Astrophage had um
A predator.
a predator, and that's
Yeah.
why all this was happening. I was just like, "This is so fucking good." When I read that, I was like, "This is so fucking good."
She made water
God
go up my
damn,
nose.
it's like, not only does it find them a solution to the problem, but it also gives them a solution to why there is a problem. So you're just like,
Mhm.
"Oh, this is so well
Yeah,
done."
there's no stone left unturned, right?
No,
Yeah.
no. And God, I don't know, I didn't see
I
it
knew you'd
going in
love
that
it.
direction, and
I
when
just
it
knew
did,
you'd love it.
I had a really good time, man. I like I said, I texted you about as soon as I read about 75 pages the first day I read it, and I was just like, "Yeah, I'm into this. This is fun. This is fun." As I'm, like, reading, I'm reading Sun Eater, which is a lot heavier, more, detailed writing type of space. So a lot of, like, the things that they're talking about kinda go together in a weird way, but it was nice to have that, as like a side piece as I'm reading through a series.
I knew you'd love it.
I
I
really
read it
did.
I mean,
I
again, I
really
read
did.
it this is the second time I've read it, and I read it in 3 sittings.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I believe it. It's like it sucks you in, and, like, just when a chapter ends and it goes to, like, the past or the present and you weren't expecting it, you're just like, "Well, I gotta see where this goes." Like, I
It's
gotta
so
get through
easy.
this to get back to that, and now I'm like, "Oh, but this was good too." Ah.
And, it's giving me a horrible book hangover because it's just so easy to read, and it's so exciting the whole time that
Yeah.
you're yeah, it's just
Yeah.
there's a
Yeah,
reason
that's
it's
hard to find. That is
extremely
hard to find.
highly rated as well. you know? And I mean, they're making it into a movie very quickly, right? I mean, it only came out 4 years ago. So if the movie's
Yeah.
done and about to come out in the next 6, 7 months,
Yeah.
that means they started making it within 2 years of it
Especially
coming
for,
out.
like, a science fiction, because even though it's based in reality, there's a lot of effects that are gonna have to go into this
I
movie.
don't know how they're gonna do it. I hope they do it well.
I'm very like I said, I'm this everything going on in the book, it's really well done as a book. I worry I worry if it's going to be, not easily adaptable,
Yeah.
because there's
I'm
so many things that are
assuming
just
that he
thoughts.
I'm assuming that he is on the, um that Andy Weir is on the team making the
I
movie, which
I
would
think
make me
so.
think that and I'm sure they'll do some kind of, like, journal for Ryan Grace when he's in space, and that's how they'll get some of his thoughts out in some way, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
I just yeah, I have very high hopes for it because I think it's so good. Like, yeah, I would struggle to find any standalone book that can compete with that.
It's got these little arcs, I think that's what makes it so every little arc has its own little payoff and its own little like, it's him alone on the ship finding his ship arc. Let's just go through the present. And then it's, "Oh, I made it to the sun, and I think I'm seeing another spaceship arc,"
Mhm.
which bleeds into, like, meeting an alien that's becoming my friend, which becomes, like, them trying to save the world arc, and then it's they found the other planet arc. You know what I mean? It's just got so many arcs.
Everything's a
It's
payoff. Yeah, it's
475
it's
page
ins it's
book.
just so satisfying.
Yeah.
I agree wholeheartedly. But I'm struggling to read anything else because of it. I mean, what else do you say? Like, I don't know. Yeah, the only thing I'm worried about really, special effects wise is how they make Rocky
I do there's a
any and how they're gonna make him, in the book, it gets to a point, and I think it's well done, where there's not a time skip, but they make it doesn't say, "And now 2 months have passed," but where there's
yeah.
clearly that it shows them building up to being able to understand each other, and then a jump happens where they just can understand each other,
Yeah.
which is good, right? It keeps the pace of the book flowing. How
Yes.
are they gonna make Rocky be able to talk, you know? Like, how are they gonna make it to a point where
So this is my theory, and I kind of first I had the theory, and then I listened to the audiobook, and I was like, now I really think they're gonna do it. So in the audiobook, whenever Rocky spoke, he had like it just sounded like had some sort of like monitor thing talking through like that. Like he had developed something that Rocky like spoke through. And I just feel like
Okay.
that's how you would do that. Like just
Yeah,
make him
maybe they're
Rocky's
gonna
an
change.
engineer. He can
Yeah, maybe he'll
engineer.
make something that yeah,
Yeah,
I'd be
that's
okay with that,
he needs
just
to
because I don't
talk
know how
because
else you're gonna portray it.
yeah, how he speaks is so much his character that it's like,
Yeah,
oh,
every question ends with the word question.
yeah. Until
Yeah.
it cuts to the future. Like I love at the end when he like could speak English, like could speak way, but like he stopped at saying question. He could say
Right.
fist bump. Um
Right.
the humor in this book is so like some people it not be might always be for. It does have like Marvel quippiness to it, but like it is still
It's
really funny. It
but
is
this is where I'm saying
funny.
he did a big jump from The Martian because I thought The Martian's humor was not good.
Okay.
And in this book, it's not that much different, it's just done so much better.
Yeah.
Eh I don't find it to be a problem at all in the book, I think
No,
it's all super
I
fun.
liked it a lot, like, whenever like, there's some, like, lame humor in it that's, like, fine, but, like,
But he's a nerd.
you respect that lame humor because when the actual humor happens, you're like, "Okay, this is actually really fucking funny."
Yeah. And he's a
Um
nerd, it's supposed to be lame, right?
Oh, yeah, totally, absolutely. It's a
Yeah.
book where they talk about fucking science mumbo jumbo for most of it. Like, I was kinda introducing this to one of my patrons to, like, maybe have her read next, and then I started thinking, like, because I think some people maybe too much science talk might be too much, like some people. You know what
Maybe.
I mean? Even though
I
he
don't know.
makes it tasteful, I still think some people might be like, too much talk of like fucking atoms and
Mhm.
hydrogen and nitrogen and blah 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 blah. I don't feel that way personally, but you know, you when you just know some people that you think that
Mhm.
stuff might not be for.
Yeah, I got you.
There's a lot of this book that I am looking forward because there's so many things that I felt like I wasn't smart enough to actually visualize. Like, I wanna see
Mhm.
what the Hail Mary looks like. I don't know if I fully
I've got
understand
that one in my for some reason, the first
the
time that was
look of
explained to
this
me, it's one
thing.
of my, I actually was just talking to Tori about this, and I think he does a great job of explaining how that ship works. Um,
Yeah, I think he does too. I just need to see it to be sure if I'm
yeah.
right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
'Cause there's so
I
much where it, like, flips back and forth. There was a point where they were talking about the ability for it to, like, break in half to, like, make the
Yeah, the
gravity,
middle splits in half, and then the
where I
front
thought the book.
piece rotates. Yeah, the
Yeah,
nose is now facing the butt end,
I need to
and
see
then
all of that.
thrusters go and spin the craft so that gravity can exist because it's spinning. Yeah,
Yeah, I can't wait to see what that looks like because, so things like that, I really just want to actually see, how
yeah.
they represent Xenonite, which, there's
That's I'm interested how they do that as well to make it yeah.
just seeing Astrophase just or Phage is it's there's a lot that I think the book does a great job that I was able to give myself a visual of a lot of things, most of it, but I am still interested to see what it could look like in a movie.
Yeah.
Um,
I think it's gonna be great. I mean, I hope it's really big,
we gotta go
you
see it
know?
together.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
We
I love that
should. We
idea.
should. Yeah, we definitely
Yeah,
should.
4.5 on Goodreads. Love that. That's very high.
Yeah, I believe that.
With
I
a hu
believe
with
that.
806,000 ratings.
Well, they're
Mm,
about to have eight
love
hundred
that.
six thousand and one because I'm gonna go on and give it I mean,
Yeah.
it didn't do anything wrong. It's like it is a 5 star. It's a 5-star book. I could
Yeah.
see it being maybe a 4 for some people, but even a 4 is really good. But for me personally, 5. Even at times where I thought I was getting bored of certain things, the
10.
way the story would change around, I'd be like, "I'm right back into this. I'm right back into this.
Yeah.
Let's go." Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's good. I highly
Thank
recommend.
you for picking that as
I
our
would
first
love to see the
book
movie together.
that we read.
I
We
knew I
definitely
had to
have
pick
to
a good
we
one.
have to plan, like, a weekend around, like, the release of that movie, go see it, record, 'cause, we
Yeah.
have to follow up.
Of
Um,
course.
but yeah, it's rare for me to start a book when I'm already reading another book, and it was just so fun. I can picture every day that I sat out in the sun during work and just read.
Oh, love that.
It was
Love that
just
you
a
read it in the
fun
sun.
experience all around.
Yeah.
10 out of
Yeah, it's
10,
feel good. It's a feel
5
good book,
star.
right?
It is a feel good for a book that's
I
about
needed
the
that.
end of the world.
It's a feel
It
good
is
book,
a
man.
feel good
Every
book.
book I read is not feel good, so it's nice once in a
No.
while.
Oh
It's like,
my god.
here's a happy
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. All around, like, even the lows, they're quick. Even the scary even when you think Rocky's dead, it's like, but, he's back up in, like, a couple
Yeah.
chapters.
And I need yeah, he is back up. And I'm
Fuck
playing
the
Expedition, and I'm like,
SKA
I
of
need
this
some
story.
lightheartedness, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels good to get some lightheartedness.
Especially in these dark times. These nerd shit in the dark times.
Yeah. Well, it's June and it's 60 degrees out, so
Yeah.
yeah,
It's only getting Juner. You got a birthday coming up.
1 week.
I got a birthday coming up. Miranda's got a birthday coming up.
It's that
Ernie's
time,
got a
baby.
birthday. Everybody's got a birthday coming up. What a
I
month June
know.
is.
I'm going to the beach next week. I'm pretty pumped.
Oh, nice, dude.
Yeah, just for a
Nice.
few days, but just to get away.
I don't blame you. Just with
Project Hail
friends.
Mary, 10 out of 10. We recommend to everybody.
Absolutely.
Can't wait
Check
to
it
see the
out.
movie. Read it before you see the movie. Very
Read it before
important.
you see it, but put some distance. I think it's gonna be good to put some distance because this is a book that, like, you can take every moment of it. Like, if I saw this movie right now, I would know the book so well that I'd just be thinking of but, like, enough
And
time
you'd
will
be
pass.
offended if they were like, don't put in a scene or two. Yeah, I get
Sure.
that.
That
I
I'd
get
probably
that.
maybe just fucking forget by the time I see the movie.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
And I
I'm
would get
gonna give that movie a
offended
real chance.
that, like, the casting isn't exactly the way I want it to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I'm excited, though.
I'm excited too.